Good morning, students. Today we are going to talk about the conditional tense. To say what someone would do or wouldn't do, we use the conditional tense. So for example, in English we might use the conditional in any of the following ways. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Wouldn't do, that's conditional. She would love to go with you. You wouldn't even imagine asking. They would be even more grateful if you'd add some money. He would be above all that. It would rain all day. We wouldn't dream of staying. So those are all examples of conditional in English. We use would as a helping verb. So how do we form the conditional in Spanish? The form is actually similar to a form you already know, the future tense. So remember that in future tense, you don't take off the AR, ER, IR endings like you usually would for most Spanish verb tenses. Instead, you simply add the same set of endings onto the infinitive form of the verb, whether the verb is an AR, ER, or IR verb. So the conditional tense is very similar. Don't take off the AR, ER, IR endings and simply add the following endings to the infinitive. And notice these are actually the imperfect endings for IR verbs, so you don't even have to learn any new verb endings. You're just kind of clobbering together two things that you already know to create a new tense. So the conditional tense endings are ia, ias, ia, iamos, iais, ian, with that accent on the I on all forms. So the conditional tense for an AR verb like llevar, to carry or to take, llevaría, I would take. Llevaría, llevarías, llevaría, llevaríamos, llevaríais, llevarían. For an ER verb like resolver, I would resolve it. Resolvería, resolverías, resolvería, resolveríamos, resolveríais, resolverían. And IR verbs like discutir are like I would or we would discuss it, or are discutiría, discutirías, discutiría, discutiríamos, discutiríais, discutirían. So let's take a look at a few examples. Angélica discutiría la situación y resolvería el problema con nuestra ayuda. Angelica would discuss the situation and would resolve the problem with our help. Yo llevaría la mochila y te la daría. I would carry the backpack and I would give it to you. Las muchachas te hablarían. The girls would talk to you. Tú no comerías conmigo. You wouldn't eat with me. And there are irregular verb forms with the conditional tense, but they also are just exactly the same forms as the irregular future tense. So the verbs below. So haber, meaning like there is, there are. If you wanted to say there would be, habría. Poder, to be able to. If you want to say would be able to, podría. Querer, if you want to talk about would want, querría. Remember that double R with a R sound. So querría, would want. Saber becomes sabría, would know. Poner, to put, becomes pondría, would put. Salir becomes saldría, would leave. Tener becomes tendría, would have. Venir becomes vendría, would come. Decir becomes diría, would say, and hacer becomes haría, would be or would make. So let's take a look at a few examples of the irregular. Yo pondría el escáner aquí. Así lo tendríamos al lado de la computadora. I would put the scanner here. That way we would have it at the side of the computer. Ella haría un pastel para su cumpleaños. She would make a cake for his birthday. Habría demasiado azúcar. There would be too much sugar. No daría nada. So that's a typo, but no daría nada would be I wouldn't give anything, but it actually should say no diría nada, D-I-R-I-A. No diría nada, I wouldn't say anything. And that is the conditional tense.